Let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. It's cold, windy. Yeesh.
Brother, this morning I was taking the children to school.
Yeah.
It was so windy and raining so hard that it was raining sideways. And so we were at a stoplight.
Okay.
And rain was on a flat street. And rain was only hitting into the back of our car.
Really? That's how.
Not a single drop was hitting the windshield. It was all hitting onto the back of the car, which was, I've never seen anything like it. It was blowing in sheets. I mean, you could see it blowing across the road. The wind was moving the water across the street. Trees. There were lights swinging like this. You know, sometimes they have the lights just hanging.
Yeah, the hanging lights.
Swinging like this. It was madness, brother. It's calmed down a little bit, I think. But it was wild.
We are under a wind advisory.
I think it's worse on the east side. It got better as I came out here.
I think that's fair. And so, all right, let me just see here.
Do you have your ride back, by the way?
I do.
Okay, good. I was going to say, otherwise you might have been getting blown all over the road.
They did some update, though. Like, there's some things I have to get used to. New icons mean new things. I was updated, but when I took it in, there's something new on it now.
Yeah.
So I'm having to sort some things out. So our high temperature was actually like midnight. That was like when it was in the 40s, and it's been all downhill from that point.
Yeah. At about 12:30 this morning, it was 55 degrees, and that was your high for the day.
That was it. Yeah. Look at that guy.
Look at the nose ring on that guy.
Is he really sporting a nose ring?
Oh, yeah, Connor.
That's his operation right now?
Oh, yeah.
I saw him out there. He was the one throwing the ball, the soccer ball to the fellas, and then they were trying to knock over the thing.
The water bottle.
That was exciting.
Sure.
Okay, so tomorrow is going to be cold, but then Friday is 52?
Yeah, it's going back up.
We're right back up.
But
and then 50 Sunday.
Next week, down into
Saturday's
the 30s.
going to be crud then, so it's going to be rainy, crud, but like 50, and then we're cold. Actually, Monday's 42, then we're at it. Then we're in the 30s, and I mean it's December. It's time.
I'd like a dusting.
I'll tell you what I'd take. I'll take a dusting over rain.
100%.
Any day of the week.
Twice on Sunday.
You're not wrong, Walter.
Love a dusting.
Not at all. Our players are back in the building today for practice. A gaggle of them have already spoken to the media. Deshaun Watson has not, but he is returning to the practice field for the first time since his suspension. That will happen today. Among the various things said about him, Nick Chubb, we're all excited. We've all waited for a long time for him to come back. Denzel Ward, he's a great player. You can't go wrong with great players. That's true. It's very true. JOK, this is an excitement. Watson can speak up his mouth and be a little bit louder, speaking about the leadership. Look, it's been a long time since Deshaun Watson's played football. It's been 2 years since he's played football. The last time he played, he was nothing short of brilliant. 3 touchdowns, 360 yards, playing for the Houston Texans team that we will play on Sunday. I think it's fair to say that from a what to expect perspective, beats me, man. I have a feeling he looks great, but who knows? Live bullets are different.
It's different.
And you just have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, it's 700 days since he last played. January the 3rd, 2021, as you talked about. He will be the 4th former Pro Bowl quarterback since the year 2000 to have a span of 600-plus days between 2 starts with 0 games played during the layoff. Andrew Luck started week 1, 2018 for Indianapolis against Cincinnati, 616 days after his last start of 2016. He missed 2017 with a shoulder injury. Peyton Manning started week 1, 2012 for Denver against Pittsburgh. He won 31-19, 616 days after his last start with Indy. Remember, he missed the entire season with a neck injury in 2011. And then RG3, so this is the second time it's happened for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, yeah.
RG3, week 1, 2016 for Cleveland at Philly, was 623 days after his last start with Washington. He was a backup quarterback in the 2015 season and did not play. So this is only the 4th time that's happened. Peyton won, Luck lost in a little bit of a shootout with the Bengals, and RG3 with a Browns team that had its struggles lost in Philadelphia that year on a 1-win football team. So it's not without precedent, although none of those guys hit 700 days. The longest was 623.
Who was the 623? Was
RG3.
RG3.
616 were both Luck and Peyton Manning. So it's a significant layoff. He has looked very good in practice. I know that some of the guys, talking to some guys on the defense, that his work as the scout team quarterback definitely got them ready for a game.
I bet it was.
I bet it was pretty good work.
It's probably the most talented scout team quarterback in NFL history.
And Anthony Schwartz, actually, he and Anthony Schwartz were very good in those sessions. And so Anthony Schwartz is optimistic that maybe he can carry, got his first touchdown, maybe that he can carry that forward because he was able to get a ton of reps with Deshaun the last 3 weeks, or last 2 weeks. This will be the third.
It's a wild scene, man. I mean, everything that's going to go into Sunday, kind of everything around the game, what's going to happen on the field. This is a Texans team that's, quite frankly, not very good. And I talked about this on Monday. There are these teams in the bottom now that are kind of going to where the way we thought they would go from the beginning. In the beginning of the season, maybe they were plucky or they had a little bit of – not anymore. Like this team has settled into who it is, and it's a real struggle for them in every game. The last time out against Miami, we had talked about this earlier in the week, they did not play their first team in the second half,
which is crazy.
Of this game, which I can't recall an NFL team
so
doing
they played
that.
a little bit into the third quarter, but not much.
Not much. And Tua was done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's who they are. But what Watson looks like and how he goes about his business on Sunday is just fascinating. And in one hand, could you see him lights out? You say to yourself, well, gosh, I mean, he's completely healthy. He's in spectacular shape. He's completely fit. He has worked out doggedly over these months to be in position to do this. He's been in the building for, a month? He's been practicing for a little while. I'm guessing, and we'll hear from Coach at 1:30, I'm guessing they've been giving him some ones over the course of the last couple of weeks to get him to the point where he could play.
Absolutely.
Not the most, but getting him some so that he's used to taking snaps and handing off to Nick Chubb and so forth and so on. So that's happened. So you get that. And so you could paint a picture pretty easily of a healthy, rejuvenated, fired up Deshaun Watson's going to be lights out on Sunday. You could also paint a picture of there's a lot of rust to knock off.
And it's just the speed. You can't replicate the speed of an actual NFL game. You cannot replicate what it is like to have, Jerry Hughes, who has 8 sacks leading the team, 11th in the NFL, bearing down on you to deliver a hit. You can't. Those aren't things that you can prepare for other than to do it. The good news is Tua, we talked about, had 300 yards passing in about a half.
Yeah.
And so, there goes the great Keith.
There's Keith. Everybody knows Keith.
Everybody knows Keith. We're going to miss him. Final day with the Browns, going off to make beautiful videos of certified Angus beef.
Is that really what he's doing?
Yeah.
Where? Omaha? Where's he going to do that?
Worcester.
Yeah. He's working for what's the company?
It's Certified Angus Beef. He's going to be multimedia producer
for Certified Angus Beef. I mean,
fantastic.
I mean,
that's such a needle to my uncle. I mean, the Certified Angus just.
He doesn't like it?
No, he raises Herefords, and so the Certified Angus people just outsmarted everybody else.
Yeah.
Made it seem like it's a big deal that they were certified.
Who
all
certified
just cows.
Who certified
They did.
No, this is
it's all marketing. They sorted it out.
CAB.
So anytime my uncle he would always be salty.
So Certified Angus beef. Well,
running the Hereford.
And Keith's going to make him look even better.
And he's
going to
make him look even better.
So Prime is legit, though, right? That's like a standard.
That's a standard, but this is for a specific breed
of cow.
As if this specific breed of cow would be superior than, say, a Charolais or a Simmental or a Hereford or whatever.
Brown spotted. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was just a marketing genius. So good job out of Keith. Keith, I'm proud of him. It's good.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the kind of that would be like a dream job of the Hoffs, just to make meat videos.
Oh, for sure. I think the Hoff also I think likes monkeying around with the breeds, like trying to crossbreed things and pollinate to get optimal meat and marbling. I think he's running some Charolais last time I talked to him, which are the white ones, the white spotted.
We got to talk to the Hoff, though. What he's doing right now that is making me sad is he's really he's starting to show the peeps a little bit. And we know they're not long. Tina, probably not long for the world, Tina.
Oh, he's naming the cows still?
Tina, truly seriously this time. Don Thick is snuck his way in on the last pick.
I see he's culling the deer population, too, it appears to be in Wisconsin. I see it.
Yeah, he gave a shout-out to Riley Connor on her first buck last weekend. Getting it done.
Yeah, I like it. So that was an interesting one. That was a picture of that was a calf, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tina. Tina, truly.
What was the age on that? I mean, because
I don't know, man. But I don't want. I'm already attached to Tina.
I learned long ago. You can't name them. Yeah. Can't name him. That goes south in a hurry.
Look, I mean, he's starting to show.
Oh, he's got a lot there.
Yeah.
So he's running some Angus Cross, it looks to me.
That's what I thought.
Sure.
That's what my eye said.
Yeah.
No brown spotted there.
No, none.
That's the pure breeds.
That's it. All right, good stuff.
Elite.
He's sauntering around there.
He said,
I noticed there were luminaries walking with certain haste.
Yeah, it looked like all
A lot
in the
of
same
hustling
direction.
around,
Yeah.
a lot of scurrying here as we get it done. Let me ask you guys a question, and maybe they have done it here. I'm not invited to these type of things, but do they do like a proper? When's the last time you guys were at a proper Christmas party, like ballroom?
It
suits,
used to be.
And then probably when you were at the firm, I'm sure you were. When you were at the firm.
Oh, Mackenzie's one was
2019
19
was
19
our
was the last,
last
like,
in-person Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mackenzie in 2000, and they were just like, look, just don't get yourself fired. That was basically like the only rule. It was like, don't do something that will get you fired.
Sure.
And like, it's a pretty long leash.
Yeah.
It's a simple rule. Don't be the one they talk about 5 years from now.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Like don't be the one that has rules instituted or has the party taken away.
Gibby rule.
Yeah, that's it. Like push the boundaries, but know when to just go. I need to go home, or I just need to go somewhere else where I'm not around.
I've noticed that people aren't. That the reason I ask this is I don't know if people are doing them anymore. Like if that used to be a big thing, like the company Christmas party. And it was a big to do, and you dress up nice and great meal and socialize and have a time.
I love it.
Of course you do. Who doesn't love one?
I love a good
I haven't
Christmas
been to one
party.
in years. I mean, it's probably been a decade since I've been to like a proper Christmas party.
Well, we've had a few good ones here.
Yeah.
I was when I was with Good Karma, they threw some doozies. There was one where
Easy, Gibby. Easy.
The divorce had just gone final, and no one in the company really knew. There were a couple people that knew, like 12 years ago, and then certain people found out, and boy, the night went well into the morning hours.
That's always the slope. It's a slippery slope.
It is.
That's where you're at.
And I have cleaned that up as best as I can.
Good job out of you. All right. Lots to get to. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll go around the NFL coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The largest selection of bath projects are all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub-to-shower conversions available as well. Superior products and expert installers at thebathauthority.com. 216-220-8399. $500 off. Tell them that Bo sent you. Around the NFL officially flexing Dolphins Chargers into Sunday Night Football for Week 14. Chiefs and Broncos moves to 4:05 on that.
Love it. Great job. Tua, Herbert, I love that game. And the Chargers play a lot of Sunday Night Football. I'll tell you what, boy.
They do. No mic.
If only you had a light where you press a button that said on.
Actually, there was a light on, and I just totally ran through the stoplight. This is worth noting because I needed to get some clarification. In October, they could only flex 2 games, like October through like the first couple weeks in November.
Yeah.
November and December, unlimited flexing allowed for Sunday Night Football.
You're kidding.
They
can usurp anybody?
Yes. Now,
Why did they not do it? Who do they have this week?
There are certain games that are protected by the networks.
I was going to say, like Cincinnati, Kansas City.
That's
got to be
protected.
Yeah, right.
But, like, I'm telling you, the Dolphins are going to get flexed again the following week because the following Sunday Night Football is Raiders-Patriots. They're going to take Dolphins-Bills. I guarantee they're going to
unless
take
it's
that.
protected.
This is Colts-Cowboys. Dolphins-Bills probably wouldn't have been protected at early season when it had to be, right?
I don't know. Is that no? I don't know for sure. It wouldn't have been.
The first 4 weeks, you couldn't flex anything. Flexing only starts after week 5.
So I wonder if after 4 weeks the networks can say what they want to protect.
They have to list their protections when they're going through their.
So there's no way that there's no way that anyone would have had the foresight to protect Dolphins and Bills. That's not anything at that time of year.
Well, everybody was bagging on Tua.
Right.
It was like, eh.
Yeah, there was no reason. All right, so this weekend is what do we have? We have Colts at Cowboys this weekend, so you never move off of Cowboys.
Nope.
Almost doesn't matter who that tells you how powerful they are.
And we will know
it does not matter.
No.
Like Indy is brutal. Doesn't matter. Cowboys, take them.
And we should know next Monday what that Ravens game will be because the NFL has to allow teams 10 days out.
Did you guys know that in Week 14 of the NFL season, there are 6 teams on a bye?
I was curious when this was coming because I was looking at the standings trying to see and I was noticing that there were teams who had played an extra game already, and I'm like, how have they not taken their bye week yet?
That is brutal. So
I think
heard
this
of
is
anything
the
like
last
that.
Week
weekend.
14. No, there's
Week
2
14.
teams this week. There's
6.
6 next week.
You said week 14.
Yeah.
Now the crazy thing about it is
Bears, Colts, Commanders, Falcons, Packers, Saints.
only the
No, they all
commies are in the mix for a postseason. I guess the Saints are too. So are the Falcons because of that division.
Right.
But the commies get basically a rest to make a run at it.
Oh, man. And I play the Miz with his playoff life on
That's
the line in Week 14, and he doesn't
Is that a post? Is that's not a
no, it's
fantasy?
last week of the regular
It's
season.
the last week of the regular
But
season.
he's got Jonathan Taylor and Pittman are his 2 best players. Won't be available.
Sorry, Mike.
It's sad.
Sorry, Michael.
So
It's not going to work for you.
No, so sad.
Yeah, so that definitely on week 15 that's going to be flexed. And then 16, what do we got on 16 on Sunday night? No, that's Christmas, right? That's Christmas Day, so they won't move those. It's Tampa Bay at Arizona. Are they going to flex?
Brady.
Are you going to flex out of Christmas?
No,
That'll
you
be
can't
locked
flex
in.
out of Christmas.
It's still Tom Brady.
What's January 1st?
Well, the best that is Sunday, January 1st.
Rams,
Sunday
Chargers.
is Rams Chargers.
Oof.
That's brutal. That's a lock. I would imagine that you'd want
Dolphins,
would you want,
Patriots.
or
No.
would
really
you want
not-
Minnesota, Green Bay, depending on who's playing it. There's not actually
Green
great
Bay's
ones.
not a great choice.
But you have
Steelers,
to
Ravens.
stay in that LA market with the Chargers.
Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great
Jets,
weekend.
Seahawks, ironically, could end up being a game with playoff implications. Bills, Bengals, they already have on Monday, which would have been electric.
And there's Cowboys, Tennessee that week too. That's on Thursday.
And then the last week will be something with playoff implications.
I think there's a very good chance it's Baltimore at Cincinnati
Yeah.
because that could be for the division.
So could Buccaneers, Falcons, believe it or not.
It really could be. I do believe it. It's very much true. There's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milk-Bones, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. Coming up next, Coach Stefanski, real quick.
I just want to give some shout-outs real quick to our peeps. Do you see everybody's talking when they're all the people sharing with their number one podcast and all the minutes?
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you, everybody.
Well, you know what we could have done? We could have done that like before we were tossing to break. And then we could have.
I thought we needed
because
to get
we had
one more minute.
We got this. I was
I
getting
don't
this.
see that because this is
You
a
had a
strange
mirror.
design
You
that I
could
can't see.
We get this, and now
I felt like it was a hasty throw.
I mean, I'd like to really
All right,
acknowledge
we'll do it.
all of these
Guess
individuals.
what? Teaser. A lot of people have said nice
There you
things.
go.
We're going to talk more about you later.
Coach Stefanski up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more on that. Is this the day that this is all going around? So I'm seeing this from Jade and so many of our great friends. Bobby.
Hey, Bobby. My boy Reams.
Reams is
Shout
in the
out
mix.
Reams. Jimmy. He's a Jimmy.
Ned was involved.
Ned, of course. Ned.
The great Ned. It's humbling, man.
It's awesome.
There was one from
the
Netherlands that was on here.
From Evo. Yeah, Netherlands. Yeah. All over the place. This guy, Cleveland Fan 97, he's got Pure Joy, Act Accordingly, Peepaw Gibbe, Betwixt. Pay attention to the scores. He's got it all in there. Yeah, legend.
That's great.
Jack's Lamp, over 21,000 minutes.
Lamp. He was our guy.
That's our guy.
Remember that guy? What was the operation with him? I remember there was something. Oh, it was for his. Look
at his pictures with the Hoff.
Pictures with the
Hoff. Guy looks like.
It was like his sister emailed us. Is that what it was? Or got in touch with me about something on a birthday? I can't even remember.
I hope so.
I remember that was great. And I was a big fan of that guy. And
celebrity doppelganger for him. What do you see right there?
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. I was going to go a little John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I like that.
Little Chris Jericho. Little Chris Jericho.
Little mix. All of those things will probably work for Jax.
And they're all good. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, so thank you to the peeps, man. We appreciate it. Yesterday, there was a guy, Chris Amdak. Chris said, I don't know if I'm proud or profoundly embarrassed.
Proud.
7,000 minutes with us. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
We had a great time.
Each and every one of you. That's absolutely it. That's wonderful. It's cool to see that. Does this just show up on your phone?
I don't know how people find this. It's got to be from Spotify. It's got to be it's got to be for people who are through Spotify.
Oh, because I don't do that. So it doesn't show up on mine like through the Apple Podcast stuff.
No, I think it's Spotify. And people, it makes like your ultimate festival right now. I'm seeing a lot of those where people are getting their ultimate musical fests.
What is the excuse the being naive? What is the benefit of Spotify versus like Apple Podcasts?
I mean, I use Spotify for all my music, and then I do get it's just everything's right there. It's just one app for literally everything that you want to hear in your ears.
Okay, all right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So music, podcast, so it's all there.
All of it.
Versus in Apple, it's just podcasts. Then I got to go to like Amazon Music for that.
Everything's there.
So it's all just one.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Coach Stefanski coming up here momentarily from the podium.
We got Coach.
And there he is.
Road against the Texans.
You guys down?
To having a great week of practice, getting down there. You watch them on tape. A lot of things jump out. Number 31, their running back, I think is outstanding. He is a load to bring down. You see him running away from people, breaking tackles. He has speed out there. I think they have multiple receivers that are big play receivers. A tight end that's making plays for them in the pass game. Big offensive tackles. So a unique challenge with our defense on the field. But in particular, I think their running back is outstanding. Defensively, it's a Lovie Smith-led defense, so that presents all sorts of different challenges. Obviously, cover 2 starts to show up, which you don't see a ton of week in and week out, so you got to be really, really precise in what you're doing. And then pressure, man pressure. On first and second down, they're doing a really nice job of being an aggressive front, line movement. So really a focal point for us in defending that scheme. And then special teams, they have a really, really good special teams unit, a bunch of guys that we know. They are outstanding, playing relentless on that side of the ball. So looking forward to going down there and looking forward to the challenge. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Since you've been the head coach, the quarterback is usually spoken on Wednesdays. Any reason that didn't happen today?
No, but that's not my department. That's PJB over there. You can ask him.
I know you're not a big vibe guy, but having Deshaun back with the ones today for the walkthrough so far, could you notice anything different in the energy, or just because that's a pretty big change?
I like the not a big vibe guy. Yeah, again, Deshaun's been here for 5 weeks, been around his teammates, been out of practice, been in walkthroughs. So I've said it to you guys before. You know this, but this is about us versus the Texans is really the focus.
This group of players, obviously there's probably going to be some backlash down in Houston when you guys go there, especially since Deshaun played there. How do you think this group is going to handle that? How do you think Deshaun is going to handle anything that rises up?
Yeah, again, Ashley, I think it goes back to control what you can control. And we have to have a great week of practice and be ready to play a great game on Sunday.
Look back at the one time we saw him play in Jacksonville. We know what happened. It was one tragedy after another.
Do you put any stock in his mental state on that day? It was a very stressful time for him.
No, I really don't, Tony. And I think a lot of that was just getting back in uniform, in the huddle, hearing my voice in the headset, those type of things. So that was all about the preparation. So no, I don't put much stock in that.
You don't expect something like that to happen?
I don't.
But do you anticipate any rust? It would be 700 days between games.
Yeah, so I think it's a totally fair question, Jeff. I don't think I can predict that type of thing, but I know this. He's focusing on his work. You got really, in any endeavor, you got to focus on your preparation for Sunday. You can't really worry about Sunday until you worry about Wednesday.
Okay, so this is a quarterback with exceptional skills. We've all talked about that. As the play caller, do you have to resist the temptation to play with this new toy at the expense of your offensive?
No, and I get the question, Tony. I think for me, for us as a team, for us as an offense, we really want to maximize the skills of all of our players. Obviously, with the change at quarterback, there, as you can imagine, there are certain things that we'll do differently. But ultimately, the goal is to go win. The goal is to play good offensive football. So there's not, I don't look at it in terms of resisting temptation. I just look at it in terms of trying to do what our guys do best.
On the ground and his ability in RPOs and stuff, how much do you expect that to maybe open up things for your running back room potentially?
Yeah, I really think it's wait and see. I think there's plenty of tape of Deshaun out there, so the Texans know what to prepare against, so to speak, but he hasn't played for us, so there's an element of we'll see.
Wyatt the other day said, if teams try to put 8 in the box, good luck. Would you expect to see less of that just with Deshaun's presence?
No, I mean, again, played good offense the first 11 weeks, so I expect that to be the same.
Well, let's put it this way. When you play teams that have quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, you haven't played them, but the threat to run, do you consider yourself having a 12th offensive player when that quarterback can run and make big plays?
I think we've seen going against some of the players this season, Tony, think about Josh Allen, Lamar. That's frustrating to a defensive coach when a quarterback can make plays. Jacoby's made plays with his feet. Just in this last game, made a bunch of plays with his feet. So that element of any offense, I think, is really can be really frustrating to a defense. That is part of Deshaun's game in this case. But Jacoby's made some plays as well this season.
Trade of this magnitude, obviously, you guys felt Deshaun was a special player. So when you look at this offense, is the assumption not that this offense would take a leap forward, be more explosive with a guy like Deshaun Watson? Because isn't that why he's here?
One more time, Kimberly? I'm sorry.
Given the magnitude of this trade, correct, for Deshaun Watson, you guys must feel like he's a special player. So when you make the switch to quarterback, what is the expectation for this offense? Is it not to be more explosive, dynamic, or else why?
Yeah, well, I think for this football team, for Deshaun, for the offense in particular, to your question, they need to focus on playing good football this week. The big picture of what that means and that type of thing, I don't think our guys are worried about that. We got to worry about our preparation this week, make sure that we have a good plan for Houston. We're excited that Deshaun's able to play for us. I mean, we're excited that he's back out there. The guys have enjoyed having him, like we mentioned, back in the room the last few weeks. So I think having him out on the field will bring an element to our offense that is different. But how different, I think, remains to be seen.
Do you think, Kevin, that they'll take time to put everything, the suspension and all that, behind Deshaun, or can you guys just say, okay, football from here on out?
I think part of our job, Jeff, is that's what we have to do. I think when you're in this building, you control what you can control. You are where your feet are. So for us right now, the focus is on Houston, and I think having a really good week of practice. I understand there's more out there outside the building, but inside the building, we really have to focus on our jobs.
David isn't going to practice today. Is that the same knee thing that kept him out last week? Did he do anything?
No, it's a different injury. So we're just going to work through it and be smart.
Ruled him out for Sunday.
I've not ruled him out, no.
pre-practice report, but how's his shoulder going into this week?
Yeah, we'll give him some rest today, but he's right where he's been. These guys, as you know, you just played in an overtime game on Sunday, so trying to be smart about what we do with the guys and make sure that they're fresh come Sunday.
You're preparing for that run that they have. How big is it to have players like Jeremiah and Sione Takitaki who have really stepped up and made big plays at times to continue that and maybe even give you more?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, just period. He's a really good football player. They have good run schemes. And again, just turn on the tape, and he's running away from people. He's bouncing off of people. He's making people miss. So it's not one person's job when you're going against a rush attack like that. It's really an 11-person job and making sure that you're sound in all of your run fits, and then you really have to gang tackle this player. He's really good.
Smith's defense used to be the rage just, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Are there any other teams as predominant as them? Are they unique at this point?
They're playing the most cover 2 as anybody in the league. I'd have to think of who the near neighbors are of him. Coach Eberflus in Chicago, similar. But I'd have to look at, across the league. But it's a unique challenge, and it's a scheme that I've seen work at a really, really high level. It keeps you off balance when you can play cover 2 and keep everything in front of you. Then you can crawl up and play man. They bring a good amount of pressure, and with that pressure, and even sometimes without that pressure, they have really, really outstanding line movement. So you're seeing their 3 technique, their 6 technique, pirate. It presents a big challenge because you have to be able to block movement when you're playing against a Lovie Smith defense.
JOK, and he was saying he's trying to find the balance between kind of reading his run fits too fast and too slow. How do you think he's doing in that, and have you seen him get better in that area?
Yeah, I think he's working hard to get better. As you know, JOK plays with a unique speed, and when he sees it, he goes. And a lot of times it's a really, really good play, and he's making the right read. If it's not, he can put himself in a bad position because he goes so fast. So, he works very hard with Coach Tarv, Coach Bloom, making sure that his reads and his keys are true. And then ultimately, when you're playing linebacker in this system, any system really, once you see it, you just got to go. Good. Okay. Thanks, guys.
You're up.
All right, there you go, Coach Stefanski from the podium. Obviously, a lot of that on Deshaun Watson and what that is going to be like. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I think that a lot of that questioning is really justified because nobody's seen him in forever.
Totally.
So no one knows what it looks like. No one. He's not talking today, so that you're getting it. The only way that you have some point of reference on what he looks like or how this has gone is through Coach Stefanski and through his teammates. And that's the only way to get that out of it. And I think because of that and about 1,000 other reasons, Sunday is going to be a very curious kick.
That's why it's a fascinating game. That's why it is what I would say a must-see, obviously, for Browns fans to see Deshaun Watson, the guy that has been brought here and basically handed the keys to your operation. He is the franchise for the foreseeable future. And so this is our first look at him, first time for him getting game action. It's going to be interesting. It's as good a matchup as you could ask for the Browns offensively and defensively.
They're bad.
They're not a good football team. They've lost 6 straight games by more than a touchdown. Yeah. They have lost 9 of their last 10 since week 1, a week 1 tie against the Indianapolis Colts, which is actually a forebearer of things to come for that team's season. They're not a great team. They are going to play, as you heard, cover 2, 23%.
Old Tampa 2.
Old Tampa 2. They're first in the league. Still only 23% of their defense, but they play it more than anybody else. They don't blitz a ton. They're in the bottom quartile of the league in blitzing, but they do run a lot of stunts in games, and that's what you heard Kevin Stefanski talking about, all the different kind of movements you have to be able to block. That's something that they do. But this is a team, they don't even play any dime. 36% base, 64% nickel. That's it. 4-man front all the time. And I think that you know what you're going to get. Deshaun knows the environment. I feel good that he's going to be able to go out there and be productive. And you can always just turn around and hand it to Nick Chubb. The Texans give up the most running yards per game to running backs. So they give up 145 and 5.2 yards a carry. Running backs, how many games have there been? 11?
Yeah, depending.
They already have 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. Running backs, not rushing, running back rushing.
You're saying that those total touches could be
a good one.
Could be bigly.
Could be good.
Isn't it curious the case of Lovie Smith?
I thought Benjamin Button, but yes.
I didn't think that was that curious. Like
Me neither.
Guy ages old to young.
It seemed weird.
It seemed odd to me that would be the case. It was inverted.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you did. Of Lovie Smith from defensive coordinator under Dungy, gets to a Super Bowl with the Bears. And then is he from there? Is he at Illinois or is there Tampa in between? Is he a Tampa head coach in between?
I'm going to look this up right now. But I know he was at Illinois.
Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly right.
You know, he goes to Illinois. That doesn't really land, but is there for a while, 4 years, I think, and then ends up now he's back in Houston as a head coach.
So, Lovie Smith.
Am I missing a third NFL head coaching
Here
job?
you go. All right, Lovie Smith comes to the NFL in '96. Tampa Bay linebackers coach. To 2001, defensive coordinator of the St. Louis Rams. Then Chicago Bears head coach 2004 to 2012. Bucks head coach 2014 to 15. Illinois head coach 16 to 20. Texans in 21 was the associate head coach and defensive coordinator with Culley, right?
Yeah, David. That's right.
And then Houston Texans head coach now. He was the NFL head coach in the year 2005.
Yeah, he was there very briefly in Tampa when he got that job. That was Winston rookie year-ish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Winston was a rookie in 14.
I don't remember that he was the DC of the greatest show on turf.
No, I don't either.
They went from in 2000, the year 2000, the Rams gave a league worst 30 points a game. They dropped to 17.1 in 2001, won the NFC Championship, and then they lost. He was the DC of the team that lost to Brady in the first one, Vinatieri, in one of the greatest upsets of all time.
That was my first Super Bowl that I went
you
to
covered?
in person. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That was. It was good. Yeah, it's a weird path to usually fired at Illinois. Don't end up back in the league as a head coach. That's usually a tough way to go about it. I remember when he took the Illinois job, thinking that's just a brutal job anyway. Let alone for somebody who's never had to recruit before, because all you're doing at Illinois is selling kids to go to Champaign. It's a tough sell, compared to some of the other options around there. So, but he's back and he's coaching this Texans team. A couple other notes from around the league. Colts interim head coach, Jeff Saturday, regrets not calling the late game timeout in Monday's loss to the Steelers during his press conference yesterday. As I would say,
You're not. What did I even forgot what I said already?
Oh, you don't say.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. You should use a timeout there when you guys had discombobulated. And he said we were in total disarray.
Total disarray. Here's what I liked about it, though. You and I were talking about this off air. I did like that he at least owned it and said, look, I blew it. Sometimes I blew it. Because you get some of these guys and they won't acknowledge. Now, you can't have it be a Hackett situation.
It can't become a trend.
It's every week.
Yeah,
I really screwed that up. Really screwed that one up, too.
But I got my job. Cool.
Like, that's it.
I mean,
isn't Kubiak's kid calling plays in Denver? He's not even the offensive coordinator. He's a quarterback coach. He's calling the plays.
He is.
Yeah, Kyle Kubiak.
Hackett had to give it up.
The plays, but it's not even the OC.
Wasn't Kyle Kubiak? Was he in Minnesota with Stefanski?
Probably. He was his dad's Gary.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think Kyle is calling plays. Well, I know he's calling plays in Denver.
Can't say that it's going right.
No, but this has been forced upon him because it was Hackett, and then the offensive coordinator got involved, and now it's I don't even know who the offensive coordinator is in Denver. No clue.
Gary Kubiak's son. I don't know if it's Kyle.
I just said it emphatically.
You did, which was good. Clint.
Dang it.
Clint. You had that right.
Same
I
alliteration.
followed you down the path. I would
Same
agree.
alliteration.
Yeah,
it's fine.
And then Wikipedia thwarted me. Yeah, so he was with.
That's one of those ones where you're Pedro. You're so pissed.
Oh yeah,
because you're
How
so
dare
close,
you. Right.
And really the difference is negligible. What difference does it make if it's Clint or Kyle? It's all the same.
So
you get the idea.
He was the quarterback coach under Stefanski when Stefanski was the OC in Minnesota in 19. And then became the Minnesota OC in 21, and now he is the passing game coordinator and quarterback coach. So they gave him a passing game coordinator title in Denver. And now, I guess, as you said, he is calling the plays there. Yeah.
There you go. Also, so around this, so good job out of Saturday on this. They get Dallas this weekend on Sunday Night Football. That was a brutal loss for them to lose to Pittsburgh. That's really brutal.
It was awful. It was a ridiculous loss.
Tell you what,
they had first and goal at the 1 and got no points.
Yeah,
that coaching debut and success seems like months ago.
It does,
and it's not going to get any better.
No, but I mean, I don't know that that's. I think my original theory is still very much in play. If he keeps losing and they go 4-10-1. He's going to be picking in the top 5.
They're going to get smoked by Dallas.
For sure.
Matt Ryan might get sacked 100 times.
Uh-huh. That's right. That's right. Bills outside linebacker Von Miller saying he's planning to return to the team's Week 14 game against the Jets Jets on his own podcast. He suffered a lateral meniscus tear during their win over the Lions on Thanksgiving. When I was watching this in real time, I thought done for the year.
Same. It looked like his knee. Yeah, and that he was going to be toast. Can't believe I blew you. Don't say it. We had a nice talk about it.
We really did.
And then my mind just went blank.
Up.
Yeah, because that was you saying it.
It was me saying it, yeah. Oh, you don't say.
You don't say.
Interesting.
You don't say, pal. That's where you throw pal at him right there.
By the way,
don't ever forget on pal. Pal can be derogatory or legitimate. It has a wide range. It's all the tone.
Only because of you and the great Cole that I learned that pal could be a positive.
Yeah.
Now, my grandfather, Papa, would use pal, I think, in a positive way. He'd be like, hey, he called everybody pal. That was like, hey, how you doing, pal? But when I was on the night before Thanksgiving, the ultimate First Friday. Oh, we never even got to talk about this because you weren't on that Friday. So we're out at.
Oh, I did scores. I did scores, and I did.
We didn't have time for.
What I do? Over unders.
Yeah, probably.
I did over unders and scores.
I mean, that wasn't a shot. Don't you worry. Yeah, you went above and beyond.
Sounds like a shot.
No, it's not like you just didn't go to a remote. Like
some people.
This guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were out at the bar at the Greenville in Chagrin, which is a great place. The night before, it was
I gotta look at this place. The Greenville.
The Greenville Inn. Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's perfect. It's exactly what it should be. Dive bar, live music.
Oh,
tons of people in there. We're in there with my buddy Pat, and Pat had a few. He's a big Brady guy, and so he was going around to people, and he's like, you look like Harry Potter. And then comes, you look like the lead singer from Green Day, and he's just giving to some of you guys, and then they'd say something to me about the Browns, and it'd be like Bucks 27-17.
Yeah.
So at one point, this guy that we met, the Baz, he was talking to him, and he was pretending to interview the Baz, so he put his beer bottle towards him as a microphone. The Baz is not happy. Smacks it out of the way. Yeah, and he goes, "Don't put that in my face, pal." And I was like, "Whoa!
Oh, that
escalated. Calm down here. We're all friends here.
No,
relax." Yeah. It was a real pal. It was an intense.
Oh, it was an intense pal.
Legit
like,
pal.
we're gonna fight, pal.
Nah, I don't think anybody wanted to go scrappy, but it was more like,
buddy can do that too. Don't you put that in my face, buddy?
Yeah. The one that I never understood, and The Rock uses it, and I don't know if it's like a wrestling thing, but Hulk Hogan used to use it, and like a jack. You throw jack at the end, like, get out of my face, Jack.
That's true.
Where's that come from?
Jack. I don't know.
And it's never good. Jack's never good. I don't know why. The Hulkster, The Rock.
Why am I blanking? There is a movie that's got a whole line of dialogue around that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we're having it right now.
Around Jack.
Yeah.
I do like it though.
It's like,
watch your back, Jack.
Yeah, you better watch out, Jack.
I do like that. I like how do you think that the issue was with the beer bottle, or was it more of a bit on he doesn't want to be interviewed?
I think he didn't like it that it was like pointed in his space.
He just did like he was out. He didn't get the bit.
Yeah, like Mike. No, I don't think he got the bit. And my kids have this new thing now where if they're not happy with like something that you've done, or you're like, I try, give me a hug, or you say something that they don't particularly care for, they tell me that you're really hurting my ecosystem right now, and I'd like you to stop that.
Payton dropped that on me last week. The ecosystem thing.
No way.
Yeah.
So it's spreading like wild. They must have been on TikTok
crazy.
and
some nonsense, watching some idiot on some channel.
My ecosystem. I'm like, do you even know what an ecosystem is?
Yeah. I just said kindly leave.
Take yourself and your ecosystem right on out of here.
Right on out, Jack.
Jack. That's right. Yeah.
See,
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's how you
that.
use
Yeah,
it. I
yeah,
like it. I think
yeah.
I'm going to pick up on that. I've used to use that years ago. I can't remember the movie it's in.
I could see you down in Florida with your belt buckle days.
Oh yeah,
throwing jack
a lot
around.
of jack around. Yeah, easy jack.
Yeah, watch it, Jack.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know if I've ever told anybody to watch it.
watch it, Jack.
Like I was a marshal.
I don't know. Chief was another one that could get. Chief was thrown out.
My dad was a big Chief guy.
He was.
A lot of people Chief. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would come at people with that. Hey, Browns fans, skip the chore of laundry. Enjoy life, not laundry. Tide Cleaners offering 30% off dry cleaning for the month of November. Just mention the promo code Browns. Visit TideCleaners.com to find the closest location nearest you. Some exclusions may apply. The great Bernie Kosar coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And speaking of Browns, they don't get more royal than this one. Our own legend, the great Bernie Kosar, joining the show now on the Twisted Tea Hotline. Brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Bernie, let's go back to Sunday, my friend. That one was pretty sweet. And what it gives, I think, is this organization a little bit of hope in the playoffs, a little bit of hope in the games remaining. And the fact that it leads into Deshaun Watson only helps. How big did it feel to you in the moment? I understand still 4-7. I get it. But at the same time, sometimes one win can go a long way. How did it feel for you on Sunday?
It absolutely felt phenomenal on Sunday. And not wanting to be a prisoner of the moment, and you're right, 4-7 isn't exactly what we had planned after 11 games and stuff. But to be playing at home against Tom Brady, to be down 7 with less than 2 minutes to go, and know that Tom Brady has never lost a game, an NFL game in his career when he was leading by 7 like that, and to have it come down to the touchdown catch by Chief on 4th down, to come out in overtime like that, to get the W, to have a victory week, to have a victory Monday and a victory week leading into the Deshaun comeback this week. That was probably as optimal an outcome and performance as we could get, trying to galvanize our team to finish strong in this fourth quarter of the season.
Yeah, it was. You had to have it. And how about your guy from the U, the Chief? Bernie, go up there. Where do you rank that in catches that you've seen in your time with the Cleveland Browns?
Okay, absolutely fired up to talk about this.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with my love for the U and my love for Chief. But for a man that's been through what he's been through for 5 years, to be a first-round draft pick like he has, and for him to be really coming into his own, and to have the 2 top tight ends in the National Football League, David Chief Njoku with our Cleveland Browns and Travis Kelce from East Cleveland, to have the 2 best tight ends in the whole NFL, it's really special. And to have it come down to that play, I mean, look at the happiness, the excitement in all of our steps this week.
Yeah.
With a W like that, to have 4th and 13 after that screenplay didn't work out on 3rd down, to have that play where Chief is manned up on the inside linebacker like that, and then it almost reminded me, and this is probably stroking my ego or reliving my Canes past, but there was a basketball player, the great Jimmy Graham, who played basketball at UM, then went on to be a great tight end in the NFL. I remember when he told me and said, "Hey, I don't think I'm going to play basketball. I think I could be tight end in the league." And he had me work with him to throw, to start running routes and being tight end. And we got in the red zone, and Jimmy Graham, like Chief, 6'6", amazing vertical jump, almost 38, 39 inches vertical jump. And you get used to throwing the ball. And I remember me and Jimmy Graham had a thing where we would throw the ball to the crossbar, 10 feet in the air, 10 to 10 and a half feet in the air, and Jimmy would jump up and make that catch. I didn't think anybody could jump as high as Jimmy Graham and making those plays. And to see what Chief did, making that one-handed catch, not only is that one of the premier catches in the league we've seen this year, but game time, game-changing, to really turn the game around, to get a W from the jaws of defeat. And again, I'm not trying to be a homer here, and I'm not trying to galvanize our team. I absolutely believe these are the type of games that could galvanize a locker room, and it could be the impetus of planting a seed towards going on a run that we want to get, that we want to go to. And I talked about this on my podcast this week. Don't like to live in the past, but I played in the Thanksgiving Day game, and a belated happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
Same to you.
Showing my age, I played in the Leon Let It Be Ice Bowl game in 1993, the Dallas Cowboys against the Miami Dolphins. And the Cowboys lost that game. We were defending Super Bowl champs. and we had to win out the last 5 games of the year to even get in the playoffs, and to win out, and once you get to the playoffs, to get the Super Bowl. I remember Jimmy Johnson at Thanksgiving saying, "We're not going to lose a game again. We're going to win out." A lot of people, the fans, the media, kind of laughed at that statement, but the coaches and the players in that locker room, we really believed that was our time and our destiny. That type of attitude, that type of mindset, I hope is really galvanizing and resonating within our locker room and within our team with what the possibility of what lays in front of us now.
Well, Bernie, and I think it will only be buoyed by the opportunity and the reality that Deshaun Watson comes back this week. Here's the crazy thing. He hasn't played in a football game in about 700 days. He's in the prime of his career, the prime of his life. Just from a guy who played at the level that he plays at, what is 700 days without football? What would be the biggest challenge for you if in your mid-20s if you didn't play a game for 700 days?
Okay, I want to be able to say that that's not an issue and that we'll be able to overcome that. I love how Jacoby's played. Remember, we talked about this on the show on and off the air a few weeks ago, how Jacoby was talking about how the game has slowed down for him, that he's able to really process things like the plays operating in slow motion. And it reminded me of back when I was reaching my peak and feeling good at my ability to make plays. The game was almost in slow motion for me. I say that because there's almost no way we could expect Deshaun after 700 days to be able to have the game being in slow motion for him. So that getting game tempo, getting up to game speed is absolutely going to probably take a little bit of time. And the emotions of playing your first game in 700 days, playing against a team that was your original team, there's so much emotion at stake here that I actually want to suggest to him to try to keep the emotion in check, try to play within yourself, not trying to do too much. Remember that for the 4th year in a row, we have the great Nick Chubb, who's gone over 1,000 yards, had 116 yards on 26 carries last week. Having Nick Chubb in that running game, and then using that play action. And I know we've talked about implementing a new offense or a newer elements of this offense with like the RPOs and stuff. Absolutely, there's a role for that. But also, when you haven't done that live, that also happens really quick. And there's really quick split-second decisions and line-of-sight issues that you want to feel comfortable with. So that's a little bit easier said than done, than having to execute those type plays.
Bernie, if you were Deshaun Watson, one of the things that Kevin Stefanski obviously has done well, the opening script has worked very effectively. We scored 6 touchdowns on our opening possession this year. What would you want to see? Are there throws that are good rhythm throws, that are good game starters for quarterbacks to get you feeling comfortable? What would you want to see for yourself? And then what would you want to see if it would be different for Deshaun Watson?
Okay. So, Nathan, I love how you pointed out that was last week's game was the 6th time this year the Cleveland Browns have scored a touchdown on its first drive of the year.
Yep.
On the first drive of the series of the game. So and it was the first time we've scored the first points and actually won the game. So I'd actually like to see us score the 7th time, the first drive of the game, and have our second W on this coming Sunday. But one of the things that, and again, Lovie Smith will know this also too, because we are a play-action team and because we do a lot of boots and nakeds, play-action drop back where I had my check down right in front of me was something that I liked as a immobile quarterback. So I enjoyed my check downs in front of me with deeper throws behind it. But because we're a great running team and we do bootlegs and play actions, and although those look complex, those reads are, from a throwing standpoint, are actually pretty remedial. So that kind of gives you a chance and sometimes gets some good confusion where you get some easier throws, you get some confidence-building throws, you get some timing type throws. And Coach Stefanski, we've talked at length about this year. Coach Stefanski and the offensive staff does an amazing job at scripting the first sequence of plays. So being able to come up with some throws that bootleg naked type play action stuff that maybe allows you to get positive fluid plays early is absolutely something I see on our horizon.
Bernie, when you played in games where you were maybe overly emotionally invested, and how did you manage your emotions when you knew that you had more in it? I mean, I just can't imagine what's going through Deshaun's head playing a game in Houston where he started his career, first game in 700 days. Was there any tricks you learned during your time where there was a game where emotionally it was a little bit more than what you normally would be that you used that were successful?
Yeah, well, that's a great point. When I'm coming from the University of Miami, where we were very flamboyant, very outspoken, a little brash in how we acted and stuff, especially under the Jimmy Johnson era. But I actually was really groomed under Howard Snellenberger and the Don Shula system, the Bear Bryant system, the Paul Brown system, and that's basically shut up and don't be heard. So being able to act like you've done that before, act like you've been there before. So in games where I was massively emotional, like going to try to break the streak at Pittsburgh, going into the jungle and having to beat Boomer Esiason to try to win the division, or playing Warren Moon when the Oilers were a better team than us and having to beat them, I'd be absolutely emotionally bluntly like a bomb waiting to explode. But that when I got into those mindsets, my exterior would actually become even more calm. And actually, to Coach Snellenberger, act like you've been there before, act like you expected to do this, believe you're going to do this, and that calmness, that quietness, that eye of the tiger type look, that belief, that kind of quiet confidence was what I absolutely used to kind of keep myself in check and to make everybody around me know we mean business and it's time to execute.
Bernie, you're playing Lovie Smith defense. He runs cover two more than anybody in the league, 23%. So the middle of the field will be open, although they run other defenses. Their middle of the field is closed 55% of the time, but still the most cover two that you will see in the NFL. And it was middle of the field open that we got down in the red zone to David Njoku, and you're able to throw that seam ball. As a quarterback, what do you like about going against Tampa 2? What are you looking for? What are your keys, and what are your thoughts in terms of where to place the football?
Nathan, I got goosebumps on top of goosebumps right now. I'm so damn excited to go against cover two, okay? I love the fades. I love the seams. From the play action ability to get up the seams, it was just straight drop back with Chief getting up on Devin Bush to toast him for the quick six to get us into overtime on Sunday, this past Sunday. So I love throwing against cover two, especially Tampa 2 with play action in front of me, because I'll send that tight end slot receiver down the middle of the field, and absolutely on my play actions do I have a check down going right where that Mike linebacker just vacated. So you have the high-low stretch in the middle, and because it's too deep, the highest percentage of two deep split safeties in the league, that is absolutely horrible for run support. We're the best running team in the league. So bring it on cover two deep, 5 under, because we're throwing seams up the middle, checkdowns, and they're going to get a steady dose of Nick Chubb, because you can't stop our running game with just 6 or 7 in the box and those two deep split safeties.
No, you're right. That's why the reason the Texans given up 145 yards and 1.3 touchdowns rushing per game just to running backs, both most in the NFL. They've already given up 5 individual rushers of more than 140 yards. Derrick Henry had 219 and 2, to Bernie's point there. Bernie, when you think about this team and what has to be accomplished, you mentioned referencing there with the Dallas Cowboys that, we're not going to lose again. And that's really, those are the stakes. How do you keep yourself in the moment week to week and not say, okay, we need to run off 6 in a row, but just focus on going 1-0? How do you do that? And as the quarterback and the leader of a team, what's the message to the team, especially for a guy like Watson now making his first start?
Hey, this is when the culture of the organization of Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski is rock solid, right on point. Win the day, win the week. The only concern is going 1-0, and when that has been the mindset since he's come here a couple years ago, it's nothing out of the norm. We are here just to do the best we can today on Wednesday. Today is first and second down passing game and first down running game. Understand that today, and all that matters is what I need to do on Wednesday to get ready for this Sunday's game. And that focus of how we do that, how Coach Stefanski has harped on that, and us being the youngest team in the league now as we get into the late third quarter of early fourth quarter of the football season, this team's mature, and I believe things like Myles Garrett last week, I have to give a shout out to him. He's a premier defensive player in this whole NFL. But yet there's been some fans and people that have said, hey, we need Myles to make plays at the end of the game. And Myles Garrett, the reason why we're 4-7, besides Chief and Jacoby and that awesome touchdown in the fourth quarter, Myles Garrett sacked to get us the ball back with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And that awesome field position was amazing. And then his performance sacking Brady in overtime. Those are big-time plays by a big-time player. And when you start getting a taste for the ability to make those plays, it's hard to make those plays. But once you make them once, and you get accustomed to doing them, you believe you could do them. They come more. They come with more frequency. And that becomes contagious, and you believe in yourself, and you believe in the guys around you. And this is the time of the year where you have to take it to that next level, and I believe these guys have the youthful enthusiasm and the physical abilities to take that next step.
Bernie, you're the best. Thank you for your time, buddy.
Awesome, guys. You matter. Go Browns 5-7.
Let's go. Let's go.
The great Bernie Kosar joining us on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea. Hard iced tea, an official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. There's nothing quite like tailgating touchdowns in Twisted Tea. In fact, it tastes just like real iced tea. And you know why, Nathan? Because it's made with real brewed tea.
Brewed, baby.
It's brewed. It's cool. It's refreshing. A 5% kick of alcohol. It's thirst down and gold. Twisted Tea, hard iced tea. Keep it twisted. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey there, Browns fans. Enter for your chance to win Browns season tickets, free Milk-Bone dog treats for a year and more. It's all courtesy of Milk-Bone, the official dog treat of your Cleveland Browns. Visit browns.com/milkbone to enter, then visit your local Meijer to check it all out. And the varieties that are there are the Milk-Bone dog treats. Hello, Gibby.
Hi, guys. Today,
Yep.
the birthday
Okay.
of one Bo Jackson. Did you see how old he is today?
I did. Made me feel old.
I don't. Can I guess?
Yes.
So when was like him and Bosworth was like 90-ish? Is that right?
In your
Late
well,
80s?
just play it out. Let's see where you go. I could tell you all of it, but I mean, you just
Late
let's
80s.
see where you end up.
Because he was there with Marcus Allen for a little while. So late 80s. I'll just use 90 as a jumping off point. So call him 22 and 90 as my launching point. 54?
So he won the 1985 Heisman Trophy.
Okay, so he's younger than that. So 50.
No, older.
You're
He
going
won the
wrong.
I went
Heisman
the
in
wrong way.
'85.
60?
60.
He is 60 years old
Yeah.
today.
So he wins the Heisman at
Does he still look great?
at Auburn. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
I interviewed him and Herschel Walker at the same time. They were doing this thing where they would do like these fitness expos for kids, and I think they were launching like a gym or something. This was like when I was in Montana, and they would come around all over and they would do these things. And I think Bo actually has a training facility in Columbus in one of the suburbs. He's got a huge training facility, like football fields, all this stuff, indoor, that he puts his name on. Pretty sure he still does. Anyway, I interviewed them together. You could make an argument that they're the two best college football players of all time, and whatever you may or may not think of Herschel Walker, as a player at the University of Georgia, he's probably the best college football player ever. I mean, he's probably, that's it. That's the answer to the question. These are two mammoth personalities, mammoth people, and dynamic athletes. You had heard about Herschel Walker, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups, all that stuff. So I go to interview them. And Bo Jackson was a hero of mine, same name, so you can imagine what it would mean to me, right?
Yeah.
So I go to interview them, and I'm not even making this up. Bo Jackson could have swallowed Herschel Walker whole. I could not believe how much bigger than Herschel Bo was.
Really?
Yeah. Significantly bigger, standing next to each other. In stature, like just build, all of it. It was not close. And Herschel's a big dude.
Big dude.
Yeah.
Ripped.
But Bo was another level.
Yeah.
Another level. So, yeah, there's the 30 for 30 on him's unbelievable. Jeff Pearlman's got a new book on him. I like the approach of the 30 for 30 where, like, you hear stories about Bo and then it's almost, you tell it and it just becomes almost bigger than the reality. Dick Schaap, I want to say, wrote his autobiography. I remember reading that as a kid. It's a crazy story.
That was similar to the Moss one, the Moss 30 for 30, which was about Moss and Jay
Williams.
Yeah,
Jason Williams. Yeah. The crazy thing with Bo is, so he was drafted. He was drafted by the Royals in baseball. His big beef was always when people would try to get him out of playing baseball. Like, he really liked playing baseball. So even at Auburn, like, he played on the baseball team. And anytime somebody would like try to say, "Hey, you don't need to play baseball," then he would just shut it down.
Like, you're done with
not
it.
having it.
You're dead to me.
Yeah, not having it. And went to Auburn over Alabama because Bear Bryant said, I don't know if you're going to be able to be the starting quarterback or starting running back year one. And
excuse me?
I mean, he's Bear Bryant, to be fair. He won 6 national titles over at Alabama. Like, he's
prior to Nick Saban.
Yeah, like, this is just
probably
one
was
more kid we're recruiting.
I'm aware of Bear Bryant.
So it's
I just feel
probably like, sure, another freshman's going to start at Alabama. Right, sure. No one ever does that. And so he goes to Auburn, then he beats Bear, I think 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 years that Auburn played Alabama. But anyway, so he gets drafted number 1 overall by the Bucks. Is it number 1 overall by the Bucks?
I believe so. That was in the 30 for 30.
He flies. He asked the Bucks to go take a visit. Hugh Culverhouse is the owner of the Bucks. The Bucks want him to take a visit before the draft. They fly him to Tampa for the visit. According to Bo, they assure him that this is not in violation of NCAA rules. Turns out that it was, and he was not able to play his senior season of baseball at Auburn. And because of that, he went and played baseball for the Kansas City Royals instead of playing for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So the Tampa Bay Bucks in 84-85 would have had Steve Young and Bo Jackson. That's pretty good.
God, I don't even remember that at all.
Yeah. So he ends up playing baseball for a couple years, and then I want to say in like 87, he ends up with the Raiders,
So that's why I had it being late 80s. That makes
right,
sense.
because he didn't get.
There was the.
It was later. Yeah.
So he played with the Royals for 2 stints.
No, 1 stint. He played them both at the same time. He would go to the Raiders after he was done with the baseball season.
Didn't play. Gotcha.
So he played baseball the whole time. He never didn't
Gotcha.
play baseball. He would play baseball till that season was over. Then he would join the Raiders.
Okay.
After that, I want to say that's like 87.
Okay.
Is when that happens. But Al Davis, like crafty, once the Bucks lost their rights to him,
Yep.
he like just drafted him in a late round and stashed him. And then he came on, I want to say in 87.
Yeah, 87 to 90,
Yeah.
he was with the Raiders. He played with the Royals 86 to 90. I have zero recollection. He didn't do anything in 92.
Well, that's when he blew out his hip. So in 91, he blows out his hip. He needs hip replacement surgery in a playoff game against the Bengals. Blows out the hip.
Yep.
Needs hip replacement surgery. Sits out a year. In his first game back in baseball, in his first at bats in 93, he hits it out.
Yeah.
First at bat on a artificial hip.
Yep.
In the early 90s when nobody did that.
And he
hit
promised
it out.
his mom that he would do it.
Yes, he hit it out.
According
He's
to
playing
the
for
lore.
the White
White
Sox, I
Sox.
believe. Yeah. So that's the way that thing went. He was an all-pro, or I'm sorry, he's a Pro Bowl football player and an all-star baseball player.
He's the only one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an all-star, a Pro Bowler, and an all-star.
All-star.
So
all-star game MVP in 89, 1993.
Hits
AL
the
Comeback
walk-off.
Player of the Year.
Hits it a home run in the first at bat, leads
Off
off
of
the
Big
All-Star
Daddy
game.
Rick Russell.
Rick Russell, and Ronald Reagan is in the broadcast booth. The former president at the time is in the booth as Jackson hits it out. It's crazy, and it's this window. It's this very small window from his elite college play from 84, 85 through 92, and there's like a 7-year window where you could make a very solid argument he's the greatest athlete who ever lived.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a stretch from 87 to when his hip goes out where he's absolutely, that stretch is more impressive than anything you'll
I
ever
have
see.
zero recollection of his time with the White Sox, and certainly none of his time with the Angels.
Oh, I remember the
remember
White
the
Sox
Yankees
because
both,
that's when the baseball card, I believe, came out.
No, that was before the hip.
That was
You sure?
Royals.
For sure. Yeah, the Bonos.
Bonos.
Yeah, that was
his header.
Royals.
Wow.
With your face on
Yeah,
it.
that's the cover of the Dick Schatt book. Bono's
I
book.
had that poster.
Yeah, you had to have that poster. That was probably one of the greatest ad campaigns ever of all time.
doubt.
Yeah, but
So,
that was it.
As I was putting all this together and coming up with this segment, you can't compare him and Dion because at first I'm like, do I want to even begin to try to compare Dion to him? Because those are the only two that really have ever done it at both levels at a high level.
Brian Jordan did it with the Falcons and Braves.
Remember that.
And was really, really good.
Wasn't he a better baseball player than?
I think he was a better baseball. I can't remember
Than
which
Dion?
was the primary. Dion was really good. Dion hit 300 one year in
Correct.
Cincinnati.
That's what I mean.
Like, he was a real baseball player for a little time, but he would always bail on baseball for the football.
So
Correct.
Jordan was as well. He was an all-star. Brian
He was
Jordan
an
was an all-star in
all-star baseball player?
1999. Career 282 hitter,
Yeah, that's pretty
184
good.
homers, nearly over 800 RBIs.
And then you go play safety.
So my question then switches and becomes:
He played football first, so he didn't even play baseball. He comes into the NFL, drafted. He's a 7th-round draft pick in the NFL in '89.
DB?
Falcons,
Wow.
yep. Falcons doesn't even make it with the Bills who drafted him. Falcons 89 to 91, and then begins his baseball career in 92. Stays in the big leagues through the 2006 season, and is an All-Star in 1999. 7 years into it with Atlanta.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's incredible.
But from a video game standpoint, is he the best with Tecmo versus
No.
Vic with Madden?
It's Vic.
Vic.
It's Vic.
It's still Vic.
It's Vic.
Even with
It's Vic. It was a different game, and it was. I mean, with Bo, there were only even on the Super Tecmo Bowl. There were at that point. It's Super Tecmo, not Tecmo.
Correct.
There's only 2 plays for Bo. And now he's unbelievable, but there's 2 plays for him. And the other thing is there were other guys in that game that were almost as unstoppable. Barry Sanders could not be caught, if you remember. Lawrence Taylor was shot out of a cannon. Christian Okoye's truck was ridiculous. There was also Ronnie Lott was unbelievable. There were other guys. Vic in Madden
The game's AI couldn't handle him.
It couldn't.
I remember with him, what I would do is I would get the ball. If I got it back on a punt, I would try to run it back to the 1 yard line, and I'd score a 99-yard running touchdown with him on the first play every time. If for some reason I couldn't get, I intercepted a pass and it was at their 30, I'd run a toss so I could get it to the back. I'd take it back to the 1 yard line, and then I'd run with Vic, and I would score every time in one play. He was moving at a different speed than the rest of the game.
They put him on the cover, and it was one of those things where they screwed up. They just made him too good. So he had the strongest arm, and he was the fastest player in the game.
Oh, yeah.
You could literally run around behind the line of scrimmage forever and throw it on a rope anywhere. It was just the game was so much different. Bo was the original video game hero, but the Vic that year was not right.
And now it's funny. That's one thing that even the Vic, they just dropped a Vic who's elite in the game, but what they did was accurately incorporate now. They have people's actual throwing motions.
Oh, okay.
So his is a little longer. The zip's on the ball, but it
was a big windup.
I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers is and he just throws the ball right out. So it's for me as a passer, I prefer that style. But so they've incorporated things like that. But in that game, it was broken. He could throw it the whole length of the field.
Yeah,
you could run around forever, and then somebody would be down there. The other, you could throw a 100-yard pass. That ad, I think his ad where he throws the ball out of this.
That was a great one.
That's a great one too.
Yeah, the Bo campaign, because it's shorter, it kind of actually reminds me a little bit of Little Penny. Like it was so great for a little moment, and then Bo broke down, got hurt, and same thing happened with Penny, where he broke down. Listen to what NBC did to me this week playing 2K. So I have not played 2K. I'd never played it.
Do you need me to come over? Do you need me to come over and give him a little humble
this was
pie?
It was unbelievable what he did. So I in the old days I was decent, never to your level, but I was decent at it. And one of the things that I just remembered was I always make sure you can direct pass. So I have the icons up so I can pass to the direct guys and all that. So he doesn't know that yet, which I'm not going to tell him. But so because of the way I play, he always wants to shoot 1,000 threes. I'm quick to rebound it. Give me 2 passes, I'll get a layup. I'll just make more twos. And then I was playing with the Warriors, he was playing with the Suns. So it was a pretty fair matchup. Steph was having a great game. Away we go. So I'm up the whole way. I'm up 6 with a minute to go.
Should be good night, Irene.
Well, he starts fouling me. So I don't mess with the stuff that is set up in the game, and he's chuckling. So I know something's up, but I'm trying to understand what it is, and I couldn't figure it out right away. So automatic subs are in and automatic timeouts, but I'm I didn't have time to reset it. I just want to play a quick game with him. So he starts fouling me, and all of a sudden I'm seeing it's like a crescent. It's moving like this on the thing, and I'm going, what the heck? Why can't? Because I wasn't having this problem on threes. On threes, I was fine from 3, but on the free throw, I couldn't hit it, and I just kept missing free throws. So in the meantime, he starts making threes, and we're catching up. So I'm up. I can't hit a free throw. I'm with Clay and Steph. All I'm trying to do is take the ball out and throw it to the other end and just try to play keep away so he doesn't foul me because I can't hit a free throw. Cannot hit it. So he hits a shot to where he's up 1, so I foul him. So he goes to the line, and instead of the crescent going like this, his is this.
And then you release it right at the top.
I go, what are you doing? So he's just giggling. He's loving it. So he hits it.
It's amazing that there were no free throws until the end of the game.
He turned the tables on you.
Oh,
you got him with the whole
his
knowing
sliders
where to
were
pass
wrong. He hits a 3 and he beats me at the buzzer. And I am I'm like, you're cheating. That was ridiculous. And what did you do? Nothing. He's going all that stuff the kids say, the cap and the bet. Bet, all that nonsense. And so I wanted to mess up his ecosystem. So he goes,
Jack.
That's right, Jack. So I get to the end and he gets all this VC. So I see this thing at the end. It goes, win versus superstar. VC 10 million or whatever. I don't know how the VC works. So he had me on superstar.
Yeah, which is the
and he was
level.
Playing on pro or some I don't know, pro.
Yeah.
I didn't even know till the end. I had to tip my hat. I mean, he out-schemed me for sure.
Well, next time you just got to go in and check your settings. And
who
make sure
thinks? I think everyone's on the same setting.
On the up and
I said,
up.
is this what you're doing with your brothers?
Oh,
Drilling them? Bootsy's trying to time it?
What did he say to that?
Didn't answer.
Oh, God.
Not great. Not great at all.
That's
Crafty move out of him. That was his play.
Okay, well,
No.
first time is going to fool me.
No.
Not going forward.
No. I can always beat him in the basketball games with the direct passing.
I
just
can
can't figure
remember.
You got to
that
tell
out.
him he's got to turn on icon passing because it allows you to
It's just the
directionally
one-
pass.
The one trigger, like the top left trigger thing, puts up the icons.
But you can have it exactly. Right.
So I just
You
hold
press
that down
and
and
then
you pass to the guy you want.
But you have to have that on. Otherwise,
And then
it's
he's al-
pass based on the direction
and
that
I'm
you
always
put the
quick
joint
to-
stick.
Yeah, right. And I'm always quick to I think it's on
And
automatically.
sometimes it misses some dudes when you don't do the. I always have to have because sometimes
Yeah.
you'll be pointing this way. There will be two guys on the court, and
Right.
sometimes usually
gotta
picks
do
the
it
right
that way.
guy, but sometimes picks the wrong guy.
Sucks when your kids beat you in anything.
It's not great.
No.
So, yeah. Even when they cheat.
I'm just sad my son's all into Apex Legends now, and I just I got to the point where I was competent at Fortnite. I could be I could be a running buddy to him. I could be like BJ Armstrong or
Right.
Paxson and make a shot when
Hit
I
open
needed
shot,
to.
stay out of his way, let him work.
Yeah, but in Apex,
It's done.
I'm just like a walking kill me,
Stumbling around.
no clue. It's awful.
Be part of one of the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Join the Brown season ticket member wait list today for the best chance at securing tickets for all home games in future seasons. Don't miss out. Go to clevelandbrowns.com tickets or call 440-891-5050 to reserve your spot today. We'll meet the Texans coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the official printer partner of the Cleveland Browns. So you depend on your Browns to win, you depend on OBM. They tackle any size office. The number is 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Let's meet the 2022 Houston Texans, the opponent on Sunday. 1-9-1 in the season, last in the South, worst in the NFL, lost 30-15 to Miami over the weekend, as you mentioned, Lovie Smith. And for the rest of it, we go to Dr. Z.
Yeah, they're not great. 6 straight losses, 9 of the last 10 losses. As a matter of fact, here are their games since they returned from their bye. 38-20 loss to the Vegas Raiders. 17-10 to Tennessee in a game Derrick Henry ran for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. 29-17 to Philly. 24-16 to the Giants. 23-10 Washington. 30-15 Miami. In the last 2 games, they've been outscored 50-0 in the first half.
Yes.
But we talk about these things all the time.
Oh, yeah, the greens
they
and the
list
reds.
Greens, reds, the whole deal. What color do you see on the Texan side exclusively?
Oh, my God. I see. Do I see 9 reds?
You do. You see 9 reds. You see
a niner?
Nary a green.
Nathan.
No, I used to get that sometimes. Nathan being nothing.
Being 0?
Yeah.
I used to drop a Nathan.
Yeah.
I'm going to work a Nathan and a Jack into my repertoire now.
You should.
I like both of those coming back.
You get Nathan.
Yeah.
But I'm more than nothing.
That's right.
Nonetheless. 29th ranked total defense. Dead last rushing defense. Dead last big plays defense. The Browns, by the way, have 164 plays of more than 10 yards this year. That's 3rd in the NFL. Behind only Kansas City and Miami. Think about that. Who would have had that?
Nobody.
You could have gotten pretty good odds on that in Vegas. Offensively, they're worse. Last in total offense, 31st in scoring offense, 29th in rushing, 27th in the pass, 31st on third downs, 30th in the red zones, 30th on yards per play. They are not good. This is not a good football team at all. One bright spot for them offensively, Dameon Pierce, their rookie running back. He's got 788 yards, leads all rookies, 9th in the NFL, but he's been held to just 8 yards exactly in each of the last 2 games by Washington and Miami. First 10 weeks, he averaged 86 yards a game, 6th in the NFL. The last 2 weeks, he has 16 yards total. But he's got some Chubb-like qualities. Bruiser, great balance and power. 5th in yards after contact this year, just 40 behind Nick Chubb. Leads the NFL with 28 broken tackles, 2nd in broken tackle percentage, 2nd in Pro Football Focus's elusive rate, and Nick Chubb is 1st in that, by the way. Even their dynamic guys, Brandon Cook's having a tough season this year, no 100-yard games. They're just not good. Their best players defensively, Jerry Hughes has 8 sacks. The rookie Derek Stingley Jr. has not allowed a touchdown despite being one of the top 10 most targeted defensive backs in the NFL. He's one of only 2 on that list to not give up a score all season. They got the great Kirko as the team captain, and he's one of 4 players in the league this year with 75 tackles, 1 interception, and a fumble recovery on the season. The Browns have beaten them twice in a row at home in 2021 and in 2020. They have lost, however, 5 straight in Houston. 5 straight in Houston. In fact, the last and only time Cleveland has ever won in Houston, January 2nd, 2005, which was the final game of the 2004 season. Those are the Texans. They're not good. Not good.
No, not at all. Far from it. And also, Texans, really? It's the best we could do?
We talked about this
already.
already.
About it, yeah.
We talked about it already.
All right, so much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's the Browns Preview Show tonight, 7 to 8, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. MJ Emerson and the voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan, joined Ken and Gerard on the program tonight.
All right, back at it, back at practice. Tomorrow.
Looks good out there, spinning it around.
Tomorrow we get a little guess the lines. I'm kind of
Oh, it's always fun, yeah. You did well last time.
Yeah, I've had 2 good weeks in a row.
2 good weeks in a row. Yeah, scores.
I get nervous for it, though. It gets me. I like that because that's like the most random
good.
thing ever.
We're due for a failure.
Well, it's also like we've had last week. We had 4 lines, 9 or more. So
Just
that's
stupid
a
lines.
wide, and they all Dallas should have.
Yeah.
Dallas was the only one that didn't. The other 3 all did. So that's always.
And Dallas should have.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Dallas
you're
should
right.
have. Yeah,
Robbed.
They blew it. They blew it as big as.
Still
you
a
could blow
good. It was actually not a bad week at all.
No, we're fine.
No, I was.
Just keep stacking them.
I think you were 9-6, and I was 8-7.
1 minute.
Yeah, you're fine.
A winning week.
Winning week. Continue. All the best to you. All right. You're good?
I mean, I think so. I don't
Watch
I don't
yourself,
know.
Jack.
Watch yourself, Jack.
Hey, listen, pal.
Those when they work. It absolutely works. The next level is coming up next. We're back tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for listening. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.